Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of TEW Local Global 1987. We're back with some GCW. I apologize for the lack of uploads. I haven't uploaded in a month, and there's a good reason for this, but the exam seasons are finally over. My semester's done. I have plenty of time now to record GCW, and that's exactly what we're doing. So, starting us off on our pre-show for Fuel, we get a three-way tag match, just because I want to try out new teams, because the tag team division is lacking a little bit, so I'm just giving guys who really have nothing to do an opportunity. So Kidman and Art Barr teaming up tonight. The Disco Dudes, of course, and then Hector Garza and Scotty Riggs, just made up team of two guys who I had nothing for. We start off with Sting in the ring, and Jesse Ventura comes out and he announces a fatal four-way at March Massacre to determine the new number one contender to Sting's World Championship. We continue with Harlem Heat getting a victory over Too Cool. Not much to say. Good tag team match to open the show. And then we have an interview with Harlem Heat after the match, and Diamond Dallas Page comes out after Stevie Ray last night at No Love Lost cost him the television championship. On accident. I don't know really what happened for Stevie Ray. Maybe he was just wanted to get a better view of the match. But DDP obviously lost the title, so he's not happy about that. And he comes down and he challenges Stevie Ray to a match next week. Then we have Al Snow versus Mortis. Just a little match to get out of the way. Afterwards, Dude Love comes out and he brawls with Mortis. Mortis, of course, is a servant of the Lord of Darkness, The Undertaker. So Dude Love still continuing his feud with the Army of Darkness. Afterwards, we get Gene Okerlund interviewing Chris Jericho. Last night, he lost his rematch against Chris Benoit for the Intercontinental Championship. Or maybe it was for the title. I'm pretty sure it's a rematch. Yeah, it's a rematch. And he had a foot on the ropes, and the pinfall was still counted. So he says there is a conspiracy in GCW against him. So I don't know. Maybe Jericho will elaborate on that next week. We'll see. Chavo versus Alex Wright is up next with Eddie Guerrero on the at the announce table, and he costs Chavo the match, interfering, which leads to Alex Wright hitting the neck breaker to get the victory. Afterwards, Eddie beats down Chavo and Rey Mysterio before heading back up the ramp. Then we get the Nation of Domination cutting a promo with the Degenerates coming out, and Billy Gunn will face The Rock for the television championship tonight in the main event. We get a big tag team match next. Dustin Rhodes and The Big Show team up, and they defeat the Dynamic Dudes, who have been on a slight downward spiral in GCW as of late. We get the Flock in the ring, and Perry Saturn tells the Flock that they need to shape up. They got to stop getting losses. They have to get wins, because he's not getting happy with them. And then we have our main event, which did not do it nearly as good as I wanted, because these two are not quite over just yet. But it's fine, we'll take the popularity loss. It's not the end of the world. The Rock gets the victory in the main event. And then we have a brawl to end the show. We actually still gained popularity, probably these angles, and the rest of the card was good, just the closing segments weren't fantastic. So we'll have to work on our main event situation. But it's just the way it goes right now. We're in a transitional period for our talent, as we still have Sting, Brian Pillman, and Steve Austin at the top of the card, but we're trying to introduce new main eventers such as Triple H and The Rock. Alright, so let's. I'm just going to show you guys one thing before we continue and simulate up to our next fuel. Some new signings coming to GCW. C.W. Anderson, pretty sure it's for developmental. Ace Steel, just as a jobber. Most of these are jobbers. So Ace Steel, Bull Payne, Dick Togo's for developmental. Julio De Niro is going to be for developmental probably. Or might be for handshake, I don't know. Brian Hildebrand's a referee. Ray Ramsey's a referee. Mickey J also a referee. Danny Gamondo is just jobber. Jamie Noble's for developmental. Scott D'Amore is a jobber, I'm pretty sure. And depending how he does, I might sign him to something more. The current, pretty sure he's the current president of TNA, if I'm not mistaken. Tony DeVito's just a jobber. Same thing with George South and Jeff Sword and JT Smith. And Den Severance for additions to the roster. Alright, let's simulate up to the next fuel right now. Alright, we are here, second show of today's episode, the final fuel of today's episode. And we have our opening contest, just a pre-show match. RVD teams up with the Headbangers to defeat George South, JT Smith, and Bull Payne. Just some jobbers. Just to get RVD and the Headbangers some momentum. This is going to be a good episode of Fuel, by the way. We are in the Mid-South. We start off with the Syndicate cutting a promo. Dustin Rhodes will be in the Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match at March Massacre. And then, just then, Steve Austin makes his return. He gets in the ring, and he announces that he will also be partaking in the Fatal 4-Way at March Massacre, meaning that Syndicate has Dustin Rhodes and Steve Austin that can win and become number 1 contender to the World Championship. Good announcement here, 94. DDP versus Stevie Ray. Oh, Scott D'Amore is a road agent, I suppose. I'm going to pause the recording and take that off. Let me just give me a second. Alright, we are back. I just had to make sure that he wasn't on any other segment. And he was in 2 other segments, so we changed those to Tenryu and Nick Bockwinkel. But it doesn't matter. In our previous match, DDP defeated Stevie Ray after Booker T accidentally hit Stevie, which led to the Diamond Cutter and the 1-2-3. Afterwards, Harlem Heat are arguing in the ring, and some dissension among the best tag team in GCW history. Next up, we have NOD, the Nation of Domination, cutting a promo, and the Degenerates come out, and it's announced that Triple H will be facing Kama Mustafa tonight. We get Dude Love versus Mortis next, and extremely short match. Dude Love defeats Mortis in 4:34 with a double arm DDT. Mortis already getting a 72. The chemistry helped a lot with that, but Chris Kanyon in real life, just tremendous performer. Such a shame that he did not go higher when he obviously had the talent to do so. Gets a 70. And next up, Sinister Minister announces to Dude Love that The Undertaker wants him one more time at March Massacre. So we get one more Foley versus Undertaker match. This time, it's going to be Dude Love. We get Disco TV making a return, and Disco and Mike Awesome announce that they are coming for the World Tag Team Champions, The Rock and Farouk. So it gets a 54. Next up, we've got Billy Kidman in action, defeats Super Calo in 3:03 with a shooting star. Kidman gets a lot of hate for his shooting star press. I can't speak. I thought it looked fine. You know, it's obviously not really a nice looking move. It's not really pretty, but it's very unique to him, the way he does it. He kind of just flops. But he always hits it the same way, except that one time where I think it was Chavo, where he hits him with the knee right in the face, which was on SmackDown in like 2005. But anyway, I like Kidman's shooting star press. I think Kidman's a great performer as well. 43. And afterwards, Billy Kidman grabs a microphone and he announces he is coming for Eddie Guerrero and the Cruiserweight Championship. And Ray and Chavo come out and they say that they have Kidman's back. Alright, next up, we have Triple H versus Kama Mustafa, and Triple H gets the victory with a fast roll-up. 75 for Triple H, 43 for Kama. Really off his game. That's unfortunate. Afterwards, we get the Nation of Domination beating down Triple H, and then Billy Gunn, Road Dogg come out, try to even things up, but they're still losing. And then D'Lo Brown comes out, and he starts helping them too. You think he's gonna help them, but he turns around and hits Triple H right in the face, and D'Lo Brown has turned heel. Oh, good. D'Lo Brown is now a member of the Nation of Domination. So, finally, we're doing something with D'Lo. 56. Chris Jericho's in action. He defeats Marcus Bagwell in 5:31 with a countout. 78 for Jericho and 44 for Marcus Bagwell. Afterwards, Chris Jericho calls out Teddy Long, who was the referee in his match against Chris Benoit, who counted his shoulders to the mat while he had one foot on the ropes. And he puts the mic up to Teddy and he says, "Teddy, why don't you explain to all the nice, beautiful people, all the Jerichoholics in the audience, how you screwed me over at No Love Lost? Here you go." And before Teddy Long can utter a single word, Chris Jericho smacks him in the face with the microphone and then locks him in the Lion Tamer for security to come out and finally break things up. Gets a 76. And then we get our main event. Steve Austin and Dustin Rhodes defeat the Dynamic Dudes in a 13:53 when Austin pinned Shane Douglas with a stunner. 74 for Dustin, 80 for Austin, and 68 for both of the Dynamic Dudes. Gets a 79. And in the match, Dustin Rhodes had it won. He was about to get Shane Douglas, but then Steve Austin tags himself in, hits the stunner, and gets the victory. And afterwards, Dustin gets in Austin's face, saying he didn't need the help. He had the match won. And Austin shoves him, and they finally just, calm down a little bit, and they walk to the back. So some dissension in the syndicate as well. Gets an 82, improving our popularity in 16 regions. So, here's the one thing I've noticed with TEW2020. It takes a lot longer to load than TEW2016, in my opinion. Rey Mysterio is too small. Get rid of him. Dustin, if you don't watch your mouth, I'm going to fire you right now. Rey Mysterio is too small. He's in the Cruiserweight division. What more do you want? He's not fighting you. Right? He's great. Look at those stats. How can you be mad at these stats? Look at all the blue. Yeah, you're just angry because you don't have as much blue. Yeah. That's what I thought. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. Make sure to like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want more. In the next episode, we'll be booking 2 episodes of Fuel and GCW Championship Wrestling 176 Shades of War, which will be taking place on Sunday in the first week of March. So, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.